I think castles are amazing because they have survived for hundreds of years. And it's fascinating seeing how they have changed with time and the impact they have had on the local population. This is a castle that played a central role in the Norman Welsh struggle for control of the area and was closely associated with two other nearby castles, Skenfrith and White Castle, which I have done separate videos on. This is Grosmont Castle in Grosmont Village, Monmouthshire, Wales. This video will aim to provide a brief history, context and visiting tips, and also a little bit on the church, which immediately attracts attention when in Grosmont Village. I aim to visit and make short videos on many castles across the country, in addition to my regular ones, so please like, subscribe and click the alerts bell for future releases. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images. Grosmont Castle is located here in Monmouthshire, Wales, roughly 12 miles from Monmouth. On this map from Historic Wales, the red shaded area is the castle, which is a Grade 1 listed building and also a scheduled ancient monument. Grosmont Castle was originally built by the Normans shortly after the conquest of England and was used to control the area. It was originally a wooden building but then was replaced by stone, starting around 1205 with a gap and then up to about 1232. The castle was rebuilt using all the modern technology of the day, including round towers and a strong gatehouse, but also some comfort for the lord, with the building of a grand hall. For context, let's look at monarchs. This is a chart I've made that goes from the present King Charles III all the way back to 1066 and William I, William the Conqueror. The initial wooden fortress was constructed shortly after the Norman conquest of 1066 during the reign of William I. And then the next stage was started under King John of Magna Carta fame and then in the reign of Henry III. The castle, like many in the Marches, lost most of its military significance following the actions of Edward I in 1282, but was still worked on by its owners, the Dukes of Lancaster, until 1399, when interestingly the head of the family took power in the country as King Henry IV. The castle was briefly and unsuccessfully besieged in 1405, and then it fell into decline as it was only a minor part of a massive estate. Looking at this notice board, we can see how the castle we see today developed from the building the stone walls and the addition of round towers with the comfortable Great Hall. And then the final picture when it was being made even more comfortable, and we can see that a chimney that is still there today was added. So what does remain today? The castle is located just off the main street of the village, opposite the entrance to the unusual 14th century church, which we'll come back to. This is the view of the track that leads to the castle, then through this gate and on to then this decorative iron gate. It is quite a compact site, but there is a fair bit here. It's hard to miss the chimney from the 14th century you mentioned earlier and the remains of the Great Hall. This is a panel showing what it could have looked like. Note the entrance, as with many keeps, is actually on the first floor, up an external staircase, even though it was a grand hall and not a keep. A good part of this castle is it is actually possible to get up on top of a section of the wall, up these stairs. This is a view from the walkway at the top. Some history. This was a very turbulent area, known as the Welsh Marches. With the invading Normans wanting to protect their land they had just conquered. This is why the initial wooden structure was put up so quickly. The castle is part of a group of castles known as the Three Castles, which were under the same ownership from 1267 right up until the 19th century. When the castles were rebuilt from the initial wood and mud, they used the latest designs brought back from Europe and these significantly improved the quality of the defences. This may have been demonstrated in 1233, when the Royal Army camped outside Grosmont Castle and the army was attacked at night, causing it to flee in confusion, but the castle was not taken. In 1262, there was an attack by the Welsh on Abergavenny, and all three castles were then readied in case they were also attacked. There is a great quote from the time which showed the seriousness of the situation. Grosmont was ordered to be garrisoned by every man at whatever cost. However, an attack never happened. The final time the castle was involved in military action was in 1405, when it was besieged by the Welsh, but it held out until relieved. Following that, its military significance was gone and it slowly fell into ruin. It eventually passed into public ownership in the 20th century and is now administered by Cadw, along with the other two castles. St Nicholas Church is opposite the castle entrance, and it's hard to miss as it is very large for a village and has a very memorable octagonal tower. Incredibly, this church was constructed in the early 13th century and is largely unchanged, including the roof, making it nearly 800 years old. The village could support a church of this size, as when it was constructed, it was supported by the wealth and status of the castle. It is a Grade 1 listed building. Visiting tips. The castle is free to enter at any reasonable time, and there is this very old sign saying it is free. The castle is in the centre of the village, so just park in the village and walk in. It is a very short way up a lane. The interior of the castle is accessed over a track and then mainly level grass. The castle has substantial remains and is good to visit, especially as it's possible to get a good look from the top of the wall. Obviously the steps going up here are a bit uneven. The church is also well worth taking a look at. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, click the alert bells for future releases and subscribe. Brought to you by Eclectic Experience. Change seen through images.